Communication, a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, signs, or behavior. Change of communication through ages. Spoken word stories. Oral communication was once the only means for passing one's ancestry to the next generation of spooking them with the frightening ghost stories. Neanderthal cave painting. Our hunched predecessors had an eye better than Picasso, creating cave masterpieces through friends, inspired by all the smelly cheese. Smoke channel. Used by indigenous tribes in the 1500s, smoke signals are actually one of the oldest forms of long-distance communication. Native tribes had their own signaling system, and soldiers in ancient China would send smoke off the Great Wall during war. Even today, nothing quiet says help like sending up some smolder. Pigeon post. Used by the Roman more than 2,000 years ago. These quacking birds weren't always just an accessory to cobblestone streets and street meat stands. Thousands of years ago, pigeons were used as a means of communication. Pigeons would carry messages on tiny pieces of rolled-up paper in a metal canister attached to their feet. They would be sent to their desired destination, sometimes by train, where they could be given the response to fly back with. Snail mail. Earliest surviving piece of mail from 255 BC. Postal services have been around since humans learned how to write. Through the ages, transportation of snail mail has included doglegs, donkeys, balloons, and submarines. In 2006, Canada Post delivered about 5 million pieces of mail through annual volume has since dropped to below 4 billion. Nowadays, mail is usually junk, but it makes receiving the rare handwritten letter all the more special. Electrical telegraph. First American electrical telegraph invented in 1836. Telegraphy revolutionized communication by bidding goodbye to physically transported messages. First formally introduced in the 1830s and 1840s, electrical telegraphy used electrical currents sent through long wire, sometimes spanning across an ocean to deliver messages across long distance. Morse code was developed by assigning dots and dashes to certain letters to spell the message. Telephone. First telephone patented in 1870. The telephone, a Canadian legacy. The first long-distance phone call was made by Alexander Graham Bell to his assistant Thomas Watson. On August 10, 1876, from Brantford to Paris, Ontario, Watson would also receive the first transcontinental phone call in 1915, where Bell said the same thing he said in 1876. "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." When Bell died in 1922, around 14 million telephones in the US and Canada stopped ringing for 1 minute on his memory. Text messaging. First text message sent in 1992. The first person to receive a text message is simply wished a Merry Christmas. The concept of sending short, quick messages was first proposed by a man named Friedhelm Hilbert in 1984. His idea that most sentences and questions fit within 160 characters lives on in today's 160 character text length and 140 character tweet length. Video messaging. First camera phone sold in 1996 in Japan. The introduction of video calling changes the way people interact. Skype, for example, has probably salvaged many long-distance relations, but apart from conference calling and video chatting, apps like Snapchat and Periscope are changing the communication. People can now rapidly interact face-to-face in small snippets, whether it be a single moment or emotion. They can also add elements to communicate that don't exist in real life.